Hello, this is Lisalee and welcome to my channel. So we are doing a pick a card today on what do your guides think about you. And I love this because your guides love you. They know you better than anyone. They're closer. They're always around too. So it's really good to get that feedback. So we've got 3 piles here, and these cards are from the Kuan Yin Oracle deck, and it's just beautiful. So pile number 1 is this image here. Pile number 2 is this image here. And pile number 3 is this image here. So timestamps are below if you want to take a moment and just look at these. I'm gonna leave this here. Pile number 1, for those of you that chose this image, I'm gonna go ahead and speed up the shuffle. Okay, pile number 1. Let's take a look at this together. So, this is pretty cool actually. So these 3 cards, your guides were like, I want all 3. This is supposed to be 1 card, and then we have 3 here. So that's pretty significant. And so I want to start there. So with the seed, the pilgrim, and the star born, I mean, this strikes me as being quite a journey. Your guides see you as being quite precious, and also, I think, a little bit more delicate than you think. I'm hearing be softer. Like, it's okay, like that's a weird thing that's coming through, but there's this sense in which your guides have a sense of you that's much more delicate, like much more fragile, but not weak at all. But there's a delicacy and a fragility there that's quite beautiful. But they see you, like they want to hold you in like a delicate, easy little way. With the pilgrim, they also really see that you have gone the distance with yourself, and you've gone the distance with life too. It's not been an easy journey. I'm seeing that with this eye. It's like striking me as being, let me just look at that. That's a deep soul. And so this is, you know, your guides are saying you're a really, really old soul, and you've gone the distance, not just in this life, but like time and time and time again. And yet you retain this beautiful vulnerability, this beautiful delicacy, which, you know, and again, this is, these are contrasts, but your guides see you as embodying very much these beautiful contrasts of like old soul, powerful, wisdom, and yet so delicate. And with the starborn here, this really speaks to your specialness. Your guides really think that you are, let me just look at this for a second, because there's some cool stuff coming through. This is so interesting. Your guides feel like you have absolutely been in a horrible ruckus of an environment, sort of. I mean, horrible is not even quite the word, but I see those little, I'm seeing these as gunshot wound, like that's what I'm seeing, gunshots. And I'm seeing this as kind of like a chaotic amalgamation of colors. And so what Spirit is showing me is like through all that, even though there may be cracks here, like there's this, you've been this delicate, strong thing in this environment that wasn't really like, I'm hearing, didn't lend itself to maintaining that vulnerability and maintaining that sort of delicacy. Despite all of the hardship, you were able to do it. And even though there's some cracks, and again, that's where the light gets in, your guides are seeing you as being incredibly resilient. And there's a softness here that's coming through. And they're showing me that, and I'm hearing precious. I'm hearing precious right now. This is what's coming through. They find you precious. So let me see, let's keep going. With yin and allowance, I love reading these, I probably always will. The frequency of allowance invites us to be open to whatever comes our way, without judgment, without opinion, without fear, and without resistance. When we allow, the universe becomes our partner in the wondrous dance of existence and expansion. So this is cool. What's coming through with this is that, especially because we have yin here too, which is like a receiving kind of an energy. It's this beautiful, like divine feminine, like soft, plushy, but it's a receiving energy. So you have these receiving energies, and actually what your guides are conveying to me is that the fact that you are allowing for, they're saying that like they feel lucky and blessed that you notice them, or that you're aware of them, or that you've included them. So they're saying it's like not common, like, you know, well, I mean, it is somewhat common, but your openness to their influence, your openness to their attention they're really grateful. And they're saying it's not just a given that anyone's going to have that response. It's really kind of, they're saying that you have a relationship is special and like unique, that you even like have these eyes to see. So that's like super coming through as being like something that is just so, like the feeling I'm getting is like beauty. It's like a beautiful quality, that you have this openness to the things around you, that you could like and them, your guides, that you have an openness to your guides. They are saying that they are saying gratitude, because they love you and they love that interaction so much. So with the High Priestess in reverse, the Four of Cups here, and the Five of Materials, the way that these reversals are coming through, and again, I read them nuanced. I don't necessarily just like flip the meaning. But what's coming through here is that these are all that you don't know that you are. You don't know. So it's like they're saying that like you don't know, like you have no concept, you don't have a context for the five of coins. This is usually the Five of Coins, and I love the Pop Tarot decks, but I always, whenever there's like, they're renaming stuff, I'm like, what are you doing? But anyway, so this is the Five of Coins. The Five of Coins in the upright is abandonment, rejection. It's kind of like a worst case scenario sort of a feeling. But in the reverse, it's like your guides are like, you know what it took to come out of that? Because we know what it took to come out of that. Do you know, really? Are you giving yourself the credit for what it took to come out of that? And that's where like your guys are driving real like home, they're like, I don't think, with this Four of Cups, they're like, I don't think you realize the miracle, the absolute miracle, that you were able to climb out of that, and the way that you did climb out of it, so impressive. And so there's this point where they're showing me this situation here, this real situation of like alone. I mean, look at this girl. And see the way that she's crawled up over there? And they're saying, do you know how much it really took you to overcome this stuff? Do you know? And so like I'm hearing that over and over again. And again, with the Four of Cups, I'm really seeing that as well. And so the truth of the matter is like one of the things that really want to let you know is they're like, all the work that you've done that's been real hard on yourself, like difficult work that you've had to overcome and deal with in hard times. They're like, not only are we watching you, we are impressed. We are impressed because we know what it took, far beyond your understanding of what it really took you to do this. So it's like this weird like way in which your guides are like, this was harder than you realize, and we are blown away. And they're like, it's extraordinary. That's what I'm hearing, extraordinary. With the High Priestess in reverse, this is coming through something kind of interesting, because Spirit is showing me you're way more psychic than they're saying. Like your capacity for stepping into your gift. And so that this is, your guides are saying you have this inborn, like acute sensibility when it comes to any of the psychic arts, really. And that's a weird way of putting it. I've never said psychic arts before, but I guess that's a thing. But you have this gift in spades. And they're saying, you know that you have the gift in spades, but I'm hearing like, are you using it to, like, are you practicing? And to the extent that your guides are saying, like if you feel to practice, like go for it, because you have this amazing talent and capacity for being able to connect with the other side, being able to connect with that which is even like greater than your own imagination. Like there's a point where you can get to that. And they're saying, and you have the ability, and you are such an old soul, and you have done so many rounds that the depth goes down all the way. And they're saying that that's like a psychic wellspring, that if you want to tap into it, they're letting you know they're aware of this with you. Your guides are showing me that with the Knight of Materials, again, that's a Knight of Coins, and in reverse, they're saying, you keep on looking at your life and being like, so slow to have progress. No, I'm not making any progress. Slowest road ever. Why? Nothing new. Like, that's what I'm hearing. And then your guides are like, you're getting there like way faster than we anticipated. We're looking at your soul contracts. We're looking at the way that the path, they're like, you do the work. And they're saying like, that's 90% of everything. And so they're showing me that like, you think that this is like a slow, and like, I don't know how long must I wait, right? But they're saying you're getting there much faster than you realize. And they're, again, there's a overall sense of like, we're impressed with you, like deeply impressed with you. And so that's pretty cool. And with the King of Pentacles here too, it's sort of like they're almost saying like, you're a knight, you're trying to get there, but you're there when you, yeah, they're saying you don't really understand the distance that you've come. In the same way, they're like, you don't really understand just how hard that was. I mean, I think as a reader, Lisalee here, I think you probably do have some level of understanding, but they have much greater like contextual view, and they're saying it's bigger, whatever you think, it's bigger. So they're also showing me that, you know, you may be thinking, oh, you know, life's slow, things that I want to accomplish, things I want to do, I'm behind. That's someone's guy is like, you know, the phrase, I am behind on the milestones, I'm behind on anything. Spirit is saying, no, like what you don't realize is that you're getting there at a pace that is kind of faster than they expected, but it's a pace that you can manage too. They're saying like, the reason that things come in at the pace that they do is because you can manage that pace. And they're saying, because again, they're very aware of your capacity. You're definitely this Knight of Pentacles, and you know, you don't realize that things are moving along, you know, at a good clip and faster than expected, because they're moving at a rate that is slow enough for you to really be able to digest any of this stuff. But this is a good pace, I'm hearing. And also you're not rushing towards like becoming a page, you know, you're not rushing towards like trying to learn something here new. They're saying, you looking at your life, you're saying not enough, it's too slow, but the abundance is within you, like in a way that maybe you don't realize. I'm going to get more cards on that because I want to see more about what that's about. So I'm going to put these together over here. With the Death card, the Seven of Materials, what I'm seeing here is that you're on your guides are very aware that you are on the rebirth end of a life and death cycle, in the rebirthing kind of a process. Things had to die away, like a lot had to change. Everything sort of had to change at a certain point. So you're on the like resurrecting end of a life and death cycle, like you really are. And they're saying that your progress is beautiful. That's what I'm getting from this. You know, this is the Seven of Pentacles. This is like you're working on something. And so, you know, and they're saying like, you know, again, with this rebirth, you're quite a ways towards being almost done with it. Yeah. When I'm hearing someone's guide be like, you know, you're almost done with this part, with the sort of like toiling to get to that point where you feel like the profit is more, then you feel like, you know, the profit to your investment, whether it's like emotional or financial, actually starts to pay off. So you're, you know, in a way that is like, I'm hearing like security, right? And so, but they're saying that you're on the resurrecting end of things, and you're already at Seven Pentacles from having just gone through this total transformation. And so they're proud of you, and they're also like, the path is good. Your gains are really good. And from where you are in this resurrection kind of position, you're ahead of the game, and it just might not feel like it yet. With the Ace of Pentacles and the 10 of Voices. What I'm hearing is like the path is clear. The path is set. It's okay to let go. It's time to let go. You have to let go. And again, this is a general reading. It's not for anybody who just felt that kick them in the solar plexus so hard. Like that probably means it resonated. Or if it hit hard in the heart, you know, that probably means it resonated. So, because I felt that strong, but it's not going to be for everybody. But yeah, so, but your guides are saying like, the path is laid. It's clear. It's abundant. You can put your foot on it. You can trust it. It's a gift from the divine. You don't have to do anything. You're going to get there anyway. But it's time to let go. It's time to let go. Whatever still has this hold on you from that last cycle. You're on the rebirth. And you can't bring any of that with you. Yeah, so I'm hearing they're saying like it's a green light on your path forward. But you do have to let go of that stuff or that person. Yeah. So that's coming through very, very, very strong. We'll get more on that because that's a heavy hitting. That came in. Whew, that was heavy. So with the Four of Pentacles and the Page of Emotions in reverse, they want you to. You guys want you to do more. They want you to do more with your friend. Like it's almost like they're saying, they're saying that you can do more socially. They're saying there's a lot of holding back because of past pain and a fear of this or that, or like hanging out with the same people, like because they're just there. But they're saying that they want to bring new people into your life. They want to bring in offers of friendship, offers of love. I mean, there's a lot of light that they would like to pour into your life by way of interactions with others. And they're saying like you're holding a little bit tight to, like, it's almost like someone saying like there's a way in which worshiping safety to the detriment of living, or not even worshiping, but it's like this adherence. It's a what is that? Like letting the fear dominate. Wait, what is this? Let me take a look. Let me fix my gaze a little bit here with this. They want to bring in a lot in the way of newness, and they're just basically saying like open the door and like step into new venues like when you can, because we're going to throw new amazing things at you. Every opportunity that you give us to bring like new like interaction, meaningful interaction too, like interaction that's going to make you grow and feel alive again, that kind of interaction. They're like, we're wanting to give that to you so badly. And if you just go outside and like go to this or do that, just a little bit out of your comfort zone. And so, some of these guys being like, we exhausted, obviously that plays a role. And there's always reasons, but they're really encouraging you to like begin to approach, because they're saying like, we'll do 90% of the work. We need you to just do like the 10% in approaching these various like either things that you're interested in. Yeah, I mean, it seems social to me. Honestly, it kind of feels like it. And so they're saying like, make the approach and we're going to meet you more than halfway, because we have such a desire to bring this stuff in. And it's not that you're not receptive when you're in that spot. You are. It's just that there's a kind of a clinging. This to me feels like clinging to feeling safe. But all alone, not necessarily like feeling alive in that feeling safe. And even if it's not all alone, like just feels like comfort zone a comfort zone to the degree where it's like, you're going to be okay. Like, you're going to be fine. Like, just, there's more for you, though. There's more than just Four Pentacles. There's a lot more than just the smallness that's currently there. Someone's guide's coming through with that, like, super strong. And so let's get some more cards. I want to get a couple more cards, because this is turning out to be just, like, a slightly heavy-hitting message here with that. Let's get a couple more cards from your guides on just how they see you. They're impressed with you. Like really, really impressed with you. And I'm hearing again, like so special. So special. Yeah, they want that. Your guys are like, you have guys saying like, I really want to bring in your soul tribe. And you see the face here? I don't know if you can see it, that face. That's just striking me out. Like there's faces you haven't seen yet that are a part of your soul tribe, and they're like, we really want to actively bring that in, and they're saying they only need like the tiniest bit of help with that in order to help you bring that in. They're saying just the tiniest bit. And so there are some of you, like whoever's guides are like really coming down at this, really just need to they're saying just do like the little tiny approaches and we will do the rest. Yeah, that's a really clear message. But yeah, for a lot of you, like they're really aching. I'm actually feeling like an aching to bring this in for you. So yeah, that's pretty. Let's see what else we got here. Oop. Yeah, that's the tribe card. So that's like just doubling down on that. They're really wanting to bring in your soul tribe. And to how they like view you in terms of like where they think that you are at, like what's activating in you right now. Yeah, see, really, it's like they're loving when you pay attention to like the spiritual. Yeah, we've got this divine feminine energy at the bottom of the deck, which again, the yin is a really big part of this. And divine feminine, I mean, I think everyone probably knows, but if not, it's an energy. And it's that's all that it is. And it's an energy that has like a receptive, it has like a community sort of receptive kind of a vibe to it. But it's also abundantly creative, and it can be fierce, and it's beautiful when the divine feminine energy is fierce, because it has like this superpowers. That's what it is. So they see you, and I'm hearing superpowers. So they see you as having a level of superpowers here. So let me just push these so that you can kind of look at them. So let's just do that. And to the extent that I can get stuff straight, I can't really see the camera, so a little bit. Here we go. Okay, with synergy here, they love the way that you are accepting with people. They really do. I mean, this is something that blows them away, actually. Your guides are like, you see the good in people. I mean, that's a given, but they're saying like you get people. Even when they're like the bad, you kind of have this understanding of people where people are disarmed by what might be called charm, but it's not. People feel genuinely safe with you. I'm going to read this. The frequency of synergy supports our allowance and acceptance of not so obvious, never seen before combinations and unions that result in new ways of functioning, working, thinking, relating, loving, and being. It reminds us to embrace the unfamiliar so that new yet exciting concoctions can give birth to a new reality. Yes. And so your guides are really saying, like, listen, we want to bring, you're so good with people in this way. And it has nothing to do with like introvert, extrovert. Like when you get into the orbit of another person, you bring this beautiful calm, you bring this disarming quality, and you bring a glow. And they're saying, but we want this to feed you. We really do. Because if you're in the same circles over and over and over again, there's a way in which things become kind of calcified. Especially in terms of receiving and giving. And so they're saying like to have that never seen before combinations and unions like come into your life is like a big deal, because of the quality of the alchemy that is you has such a profound effect on others, but then that profound effect on others boomerangs back and like really like nurtures you and your sense of self. And so that's like, and they're saying like you're beautiful, you're socially amazing. And so they're encouraging you to sort of continue to extend that it's like a non-judgmental, like openness and loving kind quality, and you have a strength in it. It doesn't make for any weakness in you, and people know that. So that's really cool too. And with perception here, they're really seeing, again, they're saying you're like very gifted, very psychic, and they see that you have been actively growing and cycling in growth and like expecting growth and wanting growth. And this has given you, first of all, you have an amazing perspective. They love that. They love that about you. Your perspective is incredibly unique. It's very, you know, it has this quality of being fixed and flowing at the same time, because I'm seeing these, I'm seeing the wheels kind of turn here. And there's this quality in which like, these almost look like blades to me, but it also looks like it's flowing. And so there's this fixed flowing quality where like, you don't want to cross you, and that's fine. But you're because you really have to go a ways to cross you, because you are so keen and you do have such a perspective of what's around you. So you have to kind of go like 10 miles, like over and beyond, like where, you know, in order to even cause that upset. So there's a way in which like, that's why these look like blades to me. Like, you know how to protect yourself. Maybe too well. Someone's guy saying like, maybe too well. But with the flow here, this is like, and the cycles, I'm seeing cycles here, cycles of growth, cycles of like being able to look at your pain and your difficulties and be like, okay, let's have at it, because this is going to be a growth opportunity. That is a beautiful perception. And they're also saying that you're, you know, again, your senses are so keen. And the more that you practice this, this growth, the more your perception is going to be, your psychic abilities are going to get better and better and better. And so they're pointing that out, especially with belief. And I do want to read it. The frequency of perception supports our natural curiosity, moving us beyond our comfort zone to find the edges of what we perceive as real and to take a good, hard, deep look at it. Yeah, this is not being afraid of your stuff. Definitely not. And they're like, I'm hearing a round of applause behind me. I wonder if I can find that sound somewhere. Yeah, probably. With belief here, so somebody's guides are being like, listen, we it's almost like, so it's funny what's happening. Somebody's guides are hilarious, really. I love this group. So as I heard an applause, you know, there's an applause for you, but then there's this like, what is that? Let me just listen. Yeah. If they're like, we want to give you a prize. We want to give you a prize because, you know, through situations where like, it's like the impossible made possible. The way in which you have like been able to like they're saying your powers of manifestation are pretty impressive. Even when like your guides are like, even we have to like block some of those manifestations because they've come from places of like where it would hurt you, you know, not for the highest good of you. But they have said that like, you know, you have always stood up to all opposition with this very clear like sense of like, it's like a belief, almost to the extent that they're saying like, you know, that you're royalty like at that deepest level. And so like whenever you get like an opposition or an obstacle comes up, you're like, actually, I believe I can overcome this, or like I believe that something is going to like shift and allow things to change, or I believe if I place my intention, like all of that belief, they're like, that's amazing. That's an amazing quality, because you have this ability to manifest based on your convictions. And so they're really impressed with what you're convicted by, you know, what your convictions are in relation to your desires. Like someone's guys are clapping actually, and they're really proud of you for this, because they're like, you're connected. Every time you do that, you're connecting to source. Every single time you're doing that, you're connecting to source. And I'm almost seeing someone who's like, every single time something like comes along and it's like a horrible obstacle, they look up and they're like, you know, it's like this, like looking at source and being like, well, I'm just going to go get my parent and then we'll just attend to this kind of. There's something really to that feels really good about your connection to source is actually quite intimate, and it's really beautiful. And so they're pointing out that they love that about you, that you almost like glow, you know, from having this loop in place, you know, whenever something is, you know, even a little stressful, like source, you know, just right on. And so let me read this. The frequency of belief supports our sense of self-worth based on our gifts and talents and a strong connection to source. Yeah. And so, and with that self-worth, it's like, you know, as possible. Yeah. I'm hearing someone's guides be like, yeah, life has knocked you around something ferocious, but they're like, you still kind of know that at the deepest level, you're royalty. That's for somebody that's going to hit someone's going to get that, and it's going to really resonate. With the dynamic here, they're sort of saying that like the combination of gifts that you have is so healing to the people around you. And it's so healing. Yeah, I'm seeing like like with the dynamic, it's like, the way in which you are able to affect people, heal people, walk into a room and change the whole vibe of it just because of you have such a presence. And they're saying, there's a dynamic quality here of where you're able to bring all these like different pieces from all the different spots like in your life and galvanize them into like a dynamic perspective. Like it's a harmony kind of a thing. And so you have this quality, you know, it's like your set of qualities like leads up to a very dynamic energy, and it causes change even when you don't even say anything. You walk into the room with your presence and your it's like a healing capacity, just like your aura is nice. And like when you walk into a room, you're changing things. That's how dynamic you are. You don't have to say anything. You just got to walk by and things are changing around you. And so you can, there's something about your presence that it like flips on a switch like of like allowance. It's pretty cool. I think it's like you have such a disarming quality that people put their guard down, and then spirit comes in and like offers them some insight or offers them. So your presence has that kind of an effect. It's really cool. And I'll read the thing. The frequency of dynamics supports our ability to harmonize between layers and aspects of different origin and frequency. It helps us to put together a reality that is made up of many different elements, both familiar and completely new, with ease, grace, and great joy. And I think that's where your guides want to like leave this. Both familiar and completely new. And synergy here. They're saying they love you. They're like, this is a beautiful, you beautiful guides. They really love you. And so they're saying that that it's not only like going to be a blessing, that they not only want to bring in new like creative like energies, that it's not just a blessing for you, it's a blessing for everyone around you. And so they're just like wanting more and more of that, but they're also saying like, you're amazing. You don't even realize how amazing you are. You don't. That's what they said very clearly. You don't realize how amazing you are. And they do want to bring in the soul tribe. So I want to, these were shuffled out. So I want to read the back of the card of the card that you chose, pile number 1. And then we're going to close out this reading. So let me read this. In creating precious silks, there is a sorting process of sifting out that which is broken to find that which is precious and pure. You are commencing a new cycle, and it is time to release that which does not align with your true heart. Choose to release all vows, agreements, and connections that no longer serve your highest good. And so group number 1, that's where we're going to leave this. This is how your guides are feeling about you right now, is they're impressed and they want to give you more. So, all right, pile number 1. I hope that was helpful, and I will see you again soon. Okay, group number 2. For those of you that chose this image from the Kuan Yin deck, let's begin. I'm going to go ahead and actually move that to that. And I'm going to speed up the shuffle. Okay, pile number 2. So forgive me if it's kind of crooked. I have a crooked sort of a broken thing, and I have to just kind of work with it. But I think it's mostly, I'll try to kind of be aware about how annoying it might be to watch something that's like, but anyway, I'll be holding the cards up, so hopefully it won't be too distracting. So pile number 2. I love this. Compassion and passion. So your guides definitely, well, they think of you as having like a real passion for not just people and their situations, basically like every aspect of life. I mean, some of you guys are showing me like basically like the world over. You have tremendous passion, like anything that you care about, there's a passionate sort of quality to it. And also you definitely are able to offer unconditional love very easily, and they're saying it's kind of remarkable how easily it is for you to be like, oh, you're unconditionally loved. In fact, someone's guide's pointing out that like sometimes that goes like a little too far, you know. Yeah, like listening. Hold on, let me see. Like you have so much of an understanding, and you have such a loving sort of your baseline is loving, and so unconditional love isn't that hard for you. It's not like you have to dig for it. And they're saying that and such a sense of people that you're just not very judgmental. You're really easy and loving and kind. And so Yeah, let me read this actually. The frequency of compassion supports our ability to stand by others without judgment and be the divine mediator between heaven and earth, spirit and matter, so that unconditional love can flow from source through our heart and into our world. This is beautiful. And so they're saying like you do that with like umph, you know, with this force behind you related to the passion here. And so the frequency of passion reminds us that beneath every intense emotion lies the hidden gem of insight, balance, and calm. It assists us in finding the balance within this intensity, moving us from chaos to the calm of its core, where we can let its long-lasting wisdom fill us up. So you really have like you have this compassion, this mediator between heaven and earth quality, but like with like power. So and they are pointing that out. They're pointing that out. And this is something that they're saying, like, we see this in you, and they're like full steam ahead. We want help get everything out of your way, because when you fix on something with your love, like that is a powerful mediation between heaven and earth, not just like a little bit, like really intensely so. With the ring and the box, let me look at this. Pile number 2. Wow, I gotta look at this. This is kind of an interesting thing that's coming through here. A little bit unusual, so let me just make sure I'm right about what I'm seeing. You have a guide that, in actually a series of past lives you were married to, and this guide is wanting to point this out, that there's a guy that really loves you deeply. There's such an attachment there. Nothing negative, but this is someone who really has passed on. And what does that mean? Somebody who's not reincarnating because they finished there for the most part. You know, there's a choice involved, but this is someone who's really has gotten to like a level of almost like an ascended master. I will say, like a really powerful energy. But this is a powerful energy that actually, like, it's funny because whoever I'm speaking to, you're so used to this guide. This guide is always with you, that what you think is being like kind of like this reaction of anxiety about stuff like all the time, your guide is telling me, this is like one person guide, so you'll know who you are. Your guide is telling me that that, you know, when they're not with you, they're always with you, but when they're sometimes like, you know, that you actually feel the lack of their presence and gives you like a little bit of an anxiety. And so like that's how much you are used to this presence, and that you kind of like incorporated it into what you sense as just like who you are, kind of like your homeostasis of like, this is how it always feels to be me, has this guide's kind of presence like built into it, because this guide notices like whenever they pull back, that like you notice. So this is a guy that like that loves you and sees you and supports you, but that is like a soulmate that you had multiple like long-term relationships with, like life after life after life, that just is around you and like always wanting, like pouring a lot of love into your experience. And they say if you get quiet and close your eyes, that you'll feel them sort of like dial up the presence, because they do connect with you. They love you very much. And so this is somebody's one person, or, you know, it's going to resonate different ways. Collectives are like schools of fish, so sometimes it hits all the way down the line. But for somebody, man, this is your guide. Your guide was married to you in previous lives. And they're saying like union after union, and that they're here to guide you because they have a very special love for you, and a very special sense of like what your gifts are and like what your qualities are, and helping you sort of, and they're saying that their job is to help you like get a sense of what those qualities are and like really maximize. So that's amazing. Woo! It's a little steamy, gotta say. Now with No Place Like Home and By the Book, let me take a look at this. They're saying it's like sort of taken a long time to sort of find your way home to yourself, like at home with myself. It's taken a number of years to get to that place where, like, yeah, so your guides are saying like you've traveled quite a ways, and they're showing me, let me just grab some water because I'm just a little bit in the desert over here. So what they're showing me is that it's taken you a long time to get to a place where you feel at home with yourself. It really has. And the influence I'm seeing here, because this is striking me as vastly different landscapes. That's what's coming out. This vastly different landscapes. And so I'm seeing that like where you came from didn't necessarily feel like put you at ease and have you like feel at home in that town, in that school, in that job, in that relationship. So it's like you know, to get to a place where you're beginning to, and one of your guys is saying like beginning to feel at home with yourself. But it's been a long trip. And so they're pointing out that that they're aware of the strength that this took. And they're very much aware of like how much you were like really driven by this inner sense of yourself and your place in the world as well. And actually, like I'm seeing like a homing device, like something calling home, like a maybe it's like a what is that? It's like a lighthouse. That's what it is. So it's like almost like there's a sense in which like you've always had a sense of home calling you, and you've had to sort of travel out of wherever you were in the way of home. Or, you know, this is a desert. So it's not striking me as particularly supportive of life. However, there's this beautiful strength here, and there's this connectedness here, which is totally notable. So there, you know, but this has been a real journey for you, getting to that place of being at home with yourself. And so they're really proud of you. I mean, that's what's coming through. Like, again, like I'm hearing such, there's so much pride for you. They're like, wow, like this group number 2, like this was hard. This is like amazing. Like you did this, you're doing this. This was a huge journey for you. So they're giving you credit where credit's due. And they're also saying that like where you are in the way of like being at home with yourself, you're a lamp to others, you're a light to others. Because we have the Hermit here. And so what I'm being shown related to the Hermit, if you can see this closely, you'll see that it looks kind of like a lantern. And I'm really being drawn to the Hermit's lantern here because, wait, let me just like get in the frame. Here we go. Yeah, that's what I'm seeing. So it's like there's a way in which like you finding your way home, now you can lead from that place. And you do. You're a light in the darkness. There's no two ways about it. I saw a lighthouse, which is really cool. Now with the Two of Cups, Charity in reverse, and the Hermit, your guides are very much aware of being pushed into this position, like not feeling like there's this person who like completely, what is this Two of Cups? Every time I feel a card, it feels a little different, but let me just see what this is. Two of Cups is the I get you, you get me, we love each other instantly, and we've been together for a million lives, and that's why there's so much recognition kind of a card. But this Two of Cups, they're aware of this desire to create something really beautiful. So here's what I'm being shown. It's a little bit complicated, but part of your inner knowing that's leading you. So it's like, you know, it took a long time to get home to yourself. And once you got home to yourself, you had this like inner light that is now guiding you. It's actually leading too. And that inner light is saying, there's something here. There's somebody there's someone you're meant to create with. There's someone you're meant to create with. And that's why, because I'm seeing the little butterflies come out of those cups. And so like you have this knowing about this, you know, with the Chariot in reverse. I mean, some of you, I'm hearing like very clearly, like just wait is what I'm hearing. Like yes, this is you're meant to create something in this way. You're meant to have this kind of like a dynamic sort of alchemy, you know, that creates here. And actually this kind of looks, I mean, this looks, for some of you, like this looks like a womb to me. And for others, it looks like healing capacity. And for many, it looks like strength and leadership. So like, again, it's going to be different for everybody, but there's something, it's like, I know that I'm meant for more. I know that there's something big that I'm supposed to like be involved with, create, like have. I know it, I know it, I know it, I know it. And they're like, and we're basically at this very moment in time saying like, just wait, hold on, like that path is set, that destination is clear. You're not wrong about like knowing that like something needs to be more. But they're saying just hold on for like one. We'll find out a little bit about this pause, but it's like hold on for a pause. With the Seven of Voices so that's the Seven of Swords in reverse, and the Hermit here. A lot of this, they're pointing out to me that a lot of this journey from where you are to like feeling that at home with yourself had to be like where you had this reckoning of like, I need to be really honest with myself about everything. And even if it makes me feel sort of like alone and having to like find my way in, to find my way out, like I really, you know, this is this need to, be honest with yourself. So you had this like real reckoning of like, I got to be honest with myself about what I'm looking at here and what my life is right now and like what it all means. That was really hard. And that did drive you all the way inside and drove you like to a point where you had to find your way all the way out, and all the way back home to yourself. But they're saying you did it and they're really proud of you. And there's like cheers, like this is a big deal. And there's victory here. You know, there's so much victory here. And they're saying like, you know, you started this journey, like, and they're showing me, actually, someone's guide's showing me like this cute little mouse. Like it's a cartoon little mouse. And so, you know, got your guys saying like, you know, you started this journey, this like little cute little mouse. And like with your Six of Wands here, like this is where you are right now. So it's like, they're showing me like this growth from like going out into the world and saying, you know, I want to follow what's meant for me. This is a passionate person, whoever I'm talking to. I want to follow my passion. And your guys are saying, like, and look at you with your victory. Look at these victories. Look at all these victories. So they're pointing out your victories. They're saying, like, I don't think you see your victories. Like, you're not listing them the way we are. You're not celebrating your victories the way we are. They're like, we're celebrating your victories. We notice we've got a nice long list of victories that you don't seem to even be aware of. And so that's what, you know, in reverse, that's what I'm really seeing. It's like, but they're saying you've been victorious and you're going to continue to be victorious. And you started from a place where you're just starting with like a little itty bitty, you know, all this potential really. And they're like, look at where you are right now. And there's cheers. There really is. And so let's take a look at this right here. Well, actually, let me take a look at this. So with the Chariot in reverse again, there's this issue with like where things are and where you want them to be, and like feeling like there's not the movement between the two poles that would make you feel like there's this feeling of like it's unfair that things aren't like moving quite, like they're not moving. I'm not seeing things move that way or that way. Like I'm feeling kind of stuck in spots. And so they're saying, you know, with the Six of Materials, this is like not feeling very fair. And they're asking you to be fair to yourself about this. So someone's guides are like, I'm feeling like a dial up on someone's guides, and they're saying, they want you to be fair about your actual triumphs. Like they want you to stop like being so unbelievably hard on yourself and your pacing. And they're saying like they want you to be fair to yourself about your pacing and really look at your pacing and look at what you were up against and look at how far you've come. And then at that point, understand all the victories therein. And then they're saying like, your pacing is good. They're like, you're hard on yourself about your pacing, but they're like, your pacing is amazing. You know, they have your they know what your soul contract is. They know what your plan was, you know, and so they're saying like, no, you're doing way better than you think you are. And we want you to be fairer to yourself about that very thing. They're saying you're stronger than you realize. And so like, again, I read reversals like nuance. It's not always the opposite, but like with the Two of Wands and Strength in reverse, they're like, you're way stronger than you realize. And even though like your one guide is being like, you know, every time you tell me like, I don't know how to proceed, I don't know how to proceed, I don't know how to proceed, I don't know where I'm going, I don't know how to, you know, and they're saying it's, so this, one of your guides is a little bit, what is that? They're so proud of you, but one guide in particular is saying like, listen, whoever's resonating with this whole, like, that you say like, I don't know how to go, I don't know how to go, I don't know how to go. They're saying that like when you stop that speech, because they listen to it constantly, they're like, what I keep on trying to tell you is yes, you do, but not necessarily like in a way that you have like a keen sense on like what to prioritize, and like what you're not really like fixed on your desire, but they're like, you know, there's a strength in who you are as a person, and there's a strength in the way that you want to be in the world, and they're like, and you can absolutely without a doubt expand to that level. So that's for somebody. And so they're saying like there's a sense in which they want you to know that it's not going to be that hard to tame the ambiguity or the uncertainty if you just someone's pointing to like, what are your strengths and why are they your strengths? And someone's guide's like, there's a guide all the way in the back that's like, someone's saying like, you have strengths that I don't want to hear it, that you don't have any strengths, right? That's a guide. There's a guide, the guide that's coming through is saying like, you're way stronger than you realize. And I want to show you how strong you are, but I can't get through to you to tell you how strong you are because there's a tape playing in your head that says, I don't know where I'm going. I don't know how to get there. I don't trust myself. Like there's a lot in that loop. And so they're like, bring yourself quiet and feel what we feel in the way of strength. And we'll show you how to do that. Just allow for it. Like set the intention. How strong am I in all of this? And your guides are going to come through and they're going to be like hella strong. And that's what I'm seeing here. And that's what really this is about. And again, they're saying like, you may very well feel like, you know, like this feeling, but yeah, let's get a couple more cards. Let's look at that. Before I jump into this, I want to like come back here for a second. I think I forgot with group 1 to like swing back to a couple of things. So I'm going to make sure that I do that with you guys, but I want to see what this not moving is all about real fast. Let's take a look at what that is. It's about choice. What about choice though? What about choice, Spirit? What about choice is that? And stability. I need one more card, Spirit. Just one more card. Or 2. Okay, so wow, sometimes things are just really clear. You got the Ace of Coins. This is your path. I always see the path. I always see Ace of Coins. I always see like the path that is in alignment with your purpose, that you co-created with Source, that is there for you, that exists for you to walk on. That's your divine path. And so concerning your divine path, related to like this lag, like what feels like there's a couple of places where it's like, I don't know where I'm going. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know where I'm going. And Spirit is saying, first you had to come home to yourself, because that was going to be really important for you getting clear on your goals. Really important for you, even you having like the introspection to be like, I'm here and I want to be there, and it's a problem. They're saying like that's kind of huge in and of itself. But so you really did the work coming home to yourself, and now there's a much easier sense in which like you have the 7 of Swords twice here. This is about being honest with yourself, really being honest with yourself, and like looking at what is your gut telling you, because there is a 10 of Coins. They're saying, you know, your foundation is like, you've got a road here. You do. And it wasn't where you were. That's kind of what someone's guide saying. Like, this isn't, so you've got this road. And it's on the other side of a real shakedown. I am seeing that. But there's a decision to be made that's like, you know what you're capable of. You're not like going to allow like that script, those lies. You know, like it basically where your guides are like, listen, every time I'm trying to tell you how strong you are, I hear this whole speech about how you don't know where you're going. And they're like, so there's something that you know, like, and we saw that. Where was that? There's like a knowing about this Hermit right here. It's like, you know, like you're meant for something here. You're meant to create something here. That's not wrong. And so they're like, have a little faith in that. You know, be real honest with yourself. Like, I want to do X, Y, and Z. I don't know how the heck I'm going to get there, but I have a real knowing about how strong I am, where I'm from. Like, there is that. And so they're saying, so like when the opportunity comes to make a decision, make that decision based on, because you're so compassionate and passionate. Your passion is a real important part of who you are. Tons of passion with you. You've got a loving guide here that is like totally helping you with absolutely every aspect of this. But this is a deep inner knowing. That's what that's striking me as, is a deep inner knowing. And there's a judgment to be made based on your own sense of your own value here that is honest with yourself. And that means for somebody, and really seeing your strength, leaning into it, and even and a guide is saying like, I don't need you to believe me. You've gone one of these guides. I don't need you to believe me. I just need you to lean into that strength. I want you to set the intention that you're going to lean into that strength, so I can just show you. I just want to show you. And so that's for somebody. You know, when you're having these moments of like serious self-doubt, your guides are saying, actually, you do know who you are. You do have a real sense. That's why you can't stand being on the wrong road. Otherwise, you wouldn't know that you were on the wrong road. So you have a real sense. And so they're saying, like, someone's guide saying, like, I want you to feel your strength. So when you find yourself in that position, there's a foundation here. Like, this is 10 of coins. This is generational wealth. They're like, somebody's like, I got you, right? But they're saying, like, listen, when you have that real moment of like serious self-doubt, your guide's saying, like, I just want you to set the intention to feel your own strength, and I will bring it, and I will show you what that is, and you can lean into it and like understand that that's all you. So that's for someone like very specifically. So that's kind of like in terms of pacing, like, and you know, they're really saying like, hey, you've done so much more than you even realized. You're way stronger than you even realize. Absolutely. Because here, look at this. You know, we have the 8 of Wands, the 4 of Cups, and Justice. You're so, I mean, this pile has to have a lot of fire in your chart, or fire placements that are like very, see, like, and very like unique, like a lot of fire. I'm feeling that anyway. There's so much passion. You have so much power. That's what someone's guide is telling me. You have so much power, but with the 4 of Cups here, guess what you don't see? Just how much power you have. And there's this sense in which your guides are like, you know, we want to bring you so much justice. And what that means is like, actually, let me get a couple cards. I want to see what that means a little bit more. Because I want to, what is this justice, Spirit? Show me what this justice is. Show me what this justice is. Show me what this justice is. All right. Okay. So, with the 7 of Cups here, someone's guide saying like, you don't really see that you have any options, but that's sort of this 4 of Cups. Oh, sorry, not even. Wow. Where's 4 of Cups? Here's 4 of Cups. This is that 4 of Pentacles energy. They're saying like, you really don't think you have any options, and you really aren't seeing a way forward. And there's a lot of like inner conflict here, because there's a lot, Spirit's saying there's a lot that you've decided that you don't believe in anymore. Like, I don't believe that this kind of relationship, or I don't believe that this, or I don't believe that that. And that this is sort of like keeping you like clutching things a bit. Because where there were wounds that sort of took away, yeah, this is kind of heavy. So someone's Spirit is showing me like, you know, when things have happened that have seemingly like taken away options, or seemingly, wait, let me listen for a second, because that's kind of a big, yeah, so they're showing me that like, where there are wounds, there's just been like closing things down and closing things down, making smaller, making smaller, making smaller, making smaller, so that you feel like you can manage things. But your spirit guides are saying like, you've done so much growing, like you can manage, you're managing, and you're in this Queen of Cups sort of space. You have a lot of love for yourself. You have a lot of love for others. You have a real sense of like emotional navigation. And so they're saying you can loosen your grip a little bit on holding on really, really tight to stuff where you think this protects me, and that protects me, and this protects me, and that protects me. Your guides are saying, ask us for protection, ask angels for protection, and you know, put your protection on. That's fine. But they're saying like, but you really, you have everything it takes. Like, you really have what it takes. You have what it needs to have all of this passion, like, actually galvanized into something that is your path. And so your guys are saying, you know, in terms of this justice, this is the difference between holding really tight to, let me just see what that is. Let me get a little bit more. What is this 4 of Pentacles? What are we holding tight to? Yeah. Wow. So, you know, things that you've had to walk away from have had an effect of making you feel like you have less And one of your guys is like, yeah, and sort of, you know, that's not like a completely wrong perception, except that it's blinding you from really seeing like how much you do have. Like with the Three of Cups in reverse, what this tells me is that it's almost like this actually feels kind of like a social shutdown to me a little bit. It's kind of like this card has been feeling like that lately. It's just kind of like a social shutdown. And what your guides are saying is you really are this beautiful Queen of Cups energy, and there's a lot, you have a lot more control than you think. You this is really interesting. What Spirit is showing me is like, this is the difference between two types of control. Look at the Four of Pentacles and look at the Emperor. They're saying you're the emperor when it comes to control over yourself and your environment and a sense of like domain in your world, dominion over your world. Like this is you. So why do you feel like that? Why do you feel like this guy? That's what I'm being shown. And they're saying like, don't worry. Like this is like, what this is saying is like, you're not going to, if you're in this position because you don't want to get hurt, you know what happens when you get hurt? In comes the Queen of Cups. That's who you are. You got this. You can navigate through all of this. Like try not to build a wall that'll keep you from hurt when you are the superhero Queen of Cups that can handle any hurt and like soothe any wound and like come out 10 times stronger. They're saying you're the emperor. So they really want to show you that you're the emperor and and you can deal with any pain, invincible. And so that there's no need to sort of cling to some of the stuff to that feeling of like, I have to have control, so it has to be kind of small scale, so I can't be around a lot of people, you know, I can't be in big groups, you know, there's a lot of that. And Spirit is saying like, you know, there's a beautiful reunion coming in here. It's a soulmate kind of reunion, and again, soulmates run the gamut. So it's not necessarily like pigeonholed into a romantic little, but this is definitely a beautiful reunion coming in. And so they're saying like, you know, don't hold so tight socially, and I can't deal with the people, and I don't want to do, because they're saying like, how are we going to bring this person in? How are we going to get them in if all the doors are closed? And that, because this card has been feeling like that a lot lately. This sort of shut off to influences. And so, yeah, Spirit is saying, yeah, your guides are really encouraging you to understand that you are passionately motivated for a reason, and it's leading you somewhere. And that's leading you somewhere. Do you know what the destination is? No, but it's leading towards that. And there's enough passion in you to get you where you're going, no problem. Especially compassion and passion here. But yeah, they're saying that there's a little word here to the effect of, they want to bring somebody in, and so they need you to do some things that will allow them to like, yeah, they're saying like, we're not really finding a good, easy way. And so they're asking, you know, they're asking you to be a little bit more open to new influences. So let's just get a last thing here. Let's get a couple things here, and then we can close out. All right, authority. Yeah, that's what I saw. And let's see if this one. And the divine feminine and allowance. That's cool. Actually, you know, we have some cards here that came out in group number 1. And so, I don't know, that might call to you. But with authority, with, you know, with divine feminine and allowance, again, I kind of find these cards to be so similar. But I'm going to just quickly, like, read for you. Like, they're really seeing that, like, the frequency of divine feminine supports our receptive, nurturing, and soft side, allowing it to express itself openly and helping us to connect to our intrinsic understanding of our connection to all creation. And the frequency of allowance invites us to be open to whatever comes our way, without judgment, without opinion, without fear, and without resistance. When we allow, the universe becomes our partner in the wondrous dance of existence and expansion. So to partnerships, they are saying, like, you know, like, allow, like, let's have, like, you are this beautiful, like, you know, actually, for some of you, you are the divine feminine energy. For some of you, you're calling it a divine feminine energy. And that's what this allowance is about. Allow yourself to be soft and receptive. Yeah, that's basically, and allow yourself to step into this authority. You are the emperor. This is healthy authority. This is like a sense of like knowing, like, I got this, I got this. And that's what your guides are saying. You got this, you got this. And, you know, with authority, the frequency of authority reminds us that true authority is powerful, directed, and realized, yet receptive, wise, and loving. That strikes me as masculine energy too, sort of. I mean, it's not necessarily at all, but what I'm feeling right now and compared to this, it's like, oh, this has a kind of a quality. But you have you are not this. And being honest with yourself is saying, I am not this, I'm this. And knowing like that you have this authority, that you have this, and that you have amazing communication skills. That's what, you know, your guys are saying, your communication skills are amazing. We want you to like maximize that because you have a voice that is important, that needs to be heard. And let me just read this. The frequency of communication supports our ability to exchange information in many different forms. It reminds us to run every piece of information, both incoming and outgoing, through our heart, the center of our truth, to stay in the flow of source and balanced exchange. It's a big deal. So yeah, your voice is needed. Your voice is not just like, your voice is needed. And so your guys are saying your voice is needed. You are this authority. You have this authority over your life. You have this strength that you're not tapping into. We'll teach you how. Just lean in. And you have the emotional intelligence and the ability to navigate emotionally to an extent that you pretty much like, it's real hard to hurt you, like super hard to hurt you. And there's such passion driving you. And your guides are saying like, you might not know the exact way, but the way that we're seeing you is passionate, like incredibly beautiful, powerful, having a voice that needs to be heard. They're wanting to bring more diversity in relationship in, and they're also wanting to bring more love in. And there's a reunion to be had as you release some of the control here, knowing that you already have the control. It's like, I have the control, so I can release some of the extraneous control. So yeah, this is it. Pile number 2. Your guides are like, you have a really clear path, and we see you heading in that direction, and we just want to encourage you to continue to allow for, you know, the influx of new energies, and to make room for them, to continue to stand in your power, which you have, and to be receptive, like continue to be receptive. They're giving you a lot of props, and they're saying, keep up the good work. And where things are a little bit hard, they're like, you're so much bigger than this, so much bigger than this. Look at you, do this. So that pile 2 is your reading, and I hope that that was helpful, and I'll see you again soon. Pile number 2, I'm back with this. So those of you that like stayed all the way, you're getting a surprise little thing. These were shuffled out, and so actually I just want to read this to you real fast. I was like clearing this, and I was like, wait a minute, I didn't read the card. So let me go ahead and read this for you, pile number 2. 10 Sisters of Light, you have been here before, lived many lifetimes. Your soul has learned skills in past lives and developed abilities and talents. It is time to reawaken and reclaim those past life gifts. Kuan Yin's grace, protection, and assistance help you now to release past life wounds so that you may bring past life powers to aid your present life purpose. All right, sorry about that, group number 2. I just remembered now. Group number 3, for those of you that chose this image here, I'm going to go ahead and speed up the shuffle. Okay, pile number 3. So pile number 3, there's a group of guides in here that is like loud and in charge, which is great because that helps me as a reader. So there's a lot here, and we're gonna tackle it all. How do your guides see you? Well, they see you as a powerhouse. That is, there's no question about it. You know, with the solar plexus chakra and empowerment here, your personal power, your willpower, this is pretty amazing. So I'm going to read it. The frequency of solar plexus chakra, the yellow flower of life, supports our sense of self, our personal power, and our willpower, as well as our knowing of who we are and what our contribution is to the world. That's, with the empowerment card, pretty amazing. I'm going to read that too. The frequency of empowerment supports our ability to show up fully and completely, uniting with us with others in the deep trust that we are all connected through the same source. So they are seeing you as being not only like really powerful, but powerful in a way that actually has a uniting effect with others. And like, they're also saying that they've seen you really take your power back. And that was, there's a guy here saying like, you took your power back. And when you took your power back, you shifted the balance of everything. And so there's a lot of like being proud of you. Like, they took their power back. This is amazing. Not just taking your power back, but really stepping into your power in a way that was previously quite difficult. It took a long time. And so your guides are saying, like, you were always meant to be a powerhouse. No question about it. and they're saying like every time you take a step of empowerment, like every time you take a step into like that, like self-worth, and that sense of self, and speak from that empowered place, they're saying like your guides are saying like we turbocharge that for you, like so like it's your power and you're bringing it, but every time you bring it, they're like we amplify it. And so that's really quite cool. So they're saying you're really powerful, and every time you bring your power to the fore, like we are there to just like push it's like the wind beneath the sail, you know, like push it forward. It's a power behind you. With the vision, the offering, and the sustainer, I'm drawn to these hands. Like more than anything else, I'm looking at all the hands in here. And with the vision, so your guides are showing me that like they see you as being somebody who, actually, there's a lot here. I'm gonna there's a lot in this one card, my God. But what they're showing me is that you connect through your, like, what is that? It's like a daydream? Like through your like daydreaming, through your, they're saying you manifest in like, with like visions, sort of, like it's, yeah, so someone's showing me like little clips playing, you know, they're saying like you're I guess a very rich fantasy life, but so it's not just like, you know, we think fantasy, we think of you know, romantic fantasies or whatnot. No, like somebody who like has like will be in the supermarket having like an action movie play out or something like that, with them as the star, like a little bit Walter Mitty, but not, they're saying no, nothing like that. But there's a way in which your imagination or your visualization of things. Yeah, so you got a couple spirit guides. This is you. Somebody, this is for you, and it's not Walter Mitty, right? That's like a bad comparison because that's the one that I thought of. But somebody whose fantasy life is really rich, but they're saying, you know what? This is a space that you create from. Believe it or not, when you're like in your head with these things, your guides are picking up on like what's being sort of broadcast, because you do have this quality of like thinking about things with such like vividness that it kind of broadcasts a little bit. And they're saying that like they make it so. To like really like when you're like dreaming, you got a guide here that's saying, look around at your life. Think about like things that had like run there, like little train around, like stopped at all the stops in your head in the way of like dreaming, and then see if you can't find like a parallel in life. Because they're saying like we actively really work hard to like make your dreams come true, because you have this beautiful power of connecting with, so like I'm seeing like a field of energy. So like you connect to the energy around you really, really well, and there's a helping hand that comes in, and something about the way that you dream, or it's like yeah, I'm seeing like movie clips, kind of just little movie clips play, and it makes changes. And so they're saying, and they're saying that they have been, look at the hands held on either side of this creation, and then these two hands held in like a sustaining protective mode. They're saying like you never gave up that part of your brain that it was so creative and so magical, and that it overlays your life in a way that they are like marveling at the beauty that like they're like you create such beauty, and they love being around you because they like the way that your mind sort of creates around you, like you know, your perspective and how you're figuring things out, and the beautiful magical quality to the way you think. They're like in awe. They are in awe, and they're so proud of the way that you have managed to safeguard this in a world that does not like stuff like this, you know, in a world that's going to like shut it down as fast as like it becomes a thing. Like they're saying you've really been able to keep this whole and safe, and you've been able to sustain this ability. And where's that other card? Oh, here it is. I'm like, wait a minute, there's another one. And with the offering, they're saying like you are such a gift to the world. They're saying, look what you have, you know, you are such a gift. You can like, you move through darkness easily and into a light, you know, like there's this way in which, so they're saying like you're a visionary, and the kind of things that you dream up, like we're back in that 100%, because there's something about the quality that is you, where this stuff really does kind of come true in its own kind of a way. They use whatever materials are in your life to use, but they're always trying to like move things into being analogous to that dream space, which is beautiful. And a lot of it is that they're saying like, you know, you're a huge you are a gift to the world by just bringing this into any space, by bringing this into interaction. The way that you think and perceive and look at things, man, you are really unique, really beautiful and a huge gift to the world, because it's almost like you did all of this safekeeping and this like safeguarding of this incredible gift. And now, and like, you know, they're like, you know, you're getting to this point where you're ready to start to share it with the world in a major way. And not only have you stepped into your power, but we're empowering this entire process as you apply, you know, your creative overlay to your life. Like they're like, be creative, be creative, be creative. With the Devil and the Three of Voices in reverse, so that's swords, Three of Swords in reverse, and the Queen of Emotions. I'm being shown this person. I don't know if you can see them, but your guy is saying, like, I see you as somebody who kind of walks on water. You have a guy here that's being like, I see you as someone who kind of walks on water, like a little bit. There's something miraculous about you. Like, you're almost unbelievable. People are like, what? Really? Is that person real? Like, is that because you have this kind of magic to you? And so your guys are saying, like, yeah, people see, like, and we see that you have this ability in standing in your power to like do impossible things. And they're saying, you know, what in the past though, you know, with this Devil energy and this Three of Swords in reverse, your guys are saying like there had been such a fixation on dealing with heartbreak, avoiding heartbreak, managing heartbreak. There was a real like fixation here related to pulling the swords out of your heart. And so, and your guides are saying like there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that for a long time, see, all these cards kind of clarify, so I'm just going to pull this up here. And I'll try to show you as I see these. There was so for a really long time, like what was super disempowering for you was feeling like you owed people everything. You know, that's part of it. Part of it was feeling like nurturing a broken heart, which is like the weird thing that's coming through. So your guide's saying like, you know, for a while, like you really did have to nurture that broken heart for a long time. And that was good. But there was a way in which like all of that hurt, like held you captive for a while and made you feel kind of weak. And so they're pointing out that like how they see you as being like this incredible powerhouse. And the only thing that's really a problem is the stuff that you feel enslaved to related to, well, it's almost like there's a lot of hurt in the past, or there's a lot of pain. And what's coming through from your guys, like this feeling of, let me listen for a second. They broke me. That broke me. This made, like, I'm not strong enough, and I can't do that. I was broken by that. You know, I'm not going to love again. I'm not going to try to put myself out there again. Like that is what I'm being shown here. And so Spirit is saying, like, you know, that you got to this point, and this is where we have this power come in, where you finally stepped into your power, because for a while it wasn't like that. You finally stepped in your power, and you said, you know, I'm going to bring justice to myself. No one's going to bring, like, actually someone's guy saying, you know, you had this moment of like, no one's going to bring justice for me. I'm going to bring it for myself. And then your guides are cheering. Yeah, I love this group of guides because I get like applause every once in a while, which is like, you know, because throughout the 3 readings. And by the way, there was like a couple of cards that came out, and I have to find them. But yeah, it seems like the readings might, if you feel called to another reading, it wouldn't surprise me if they were somewhat connected. But this is something that your guides are like, yeah, that moment of justice where you're like, no, I'm going to save myself. Excuse me, get out of my way. I'm a powerhouse. Watch me while I fly, with the empowerment of like all my guides and my life purpose and the gift that I am and the visionary that I am, and how all these things that I see like really make manifest. And all the help that you have, like this group of guides is like a very high level, where this is a room of like saturated power right now. So I don't know, but I like your guides. They're really good. With the Queen of Emotions here, they're saying like you've gained this mastery over yourself and your emotions and the way you express yourself and how you portray yourself and how people perceive you. Like, and they're saying like, you know, you gained your mastery they're like, we're really impressed with the way that you gain mastery over your life. Because they're like, it's not that you, they're like, you stepped into your strength. And then from that strength, you're like, not afraid of any emotional outcome. And that's pretty damn cool. Because you're like, I can handle it. And that's where like, you know, you have this kind of almost like, yeah, they're saying like you look at the impossible and you're like, excuse me, maybe not impossible. Let's see where we can work with this. And then things happen. And they're like really impressed with this quality in you. And so they're saying like, you know, there's this applause around this moment where you were like, okay, I'm not going to let the past define me. I'm just not. You have a strength of spirituality that is very fixed within you. that also, you know, you have a real sense, like your guys are like, your sense of wrong and right, and your sense of justice, and you're looking around and like really pointing out like, that's not fair, that's horrible, that's even worse, like all of that. Like they're saying like you have this real like internal, like it's almost like a holy righteousness. Yeah, that's kind of how I would put it too. It's like a holy righteousness. And so they're saying that your sense of justice is dazzlingly beautiful to them. That their hearts just like, yeah, well, they're like laughing at the heart thing. But they're saying that there's just beautiful, there's a groundedness to your sense of, it's like a righteous holiness in your sense of right and wrong. And they are super impressed by this. Now, with the High Priestess, the Two of Emotions in reverse, and the Page of Materials. Again, I always read reversals like nuance and never like opposites. Sometimes it's opposites, but that's just because I just, whatever comes through, I'm like, yay, yeah, that's what's coming through. I gotta get more cards on this actually. Oh no, I did clarify down here. Oh, interesting. All right, so they're pointing out they're pointing out a kind of scenario here. I'm seeing somebody who, so what's Summon Spirit Guide, again, like it's a collective read, but it's a, collectives are like school of fish, and like they move together, and so like these things did work in miraculous ways. But so like someone's guide, this is a very specific person that I'm speaking to. It might have an extended reach, but with the Page of Coins and the Two of Emotions, someone's guide's telling me like very clearly, like, you know, you grew up and the way that you were taught was everything was to be like the only thing that mattered, the only thing that was of any consequence in life, you were taught what is that exactly? The only thing that matters is a romantic partner. That's like, it's like this brainwashing that your guys are saying, like this emphasis on romantic relationships to the exclusion of all other important things, like that this was like drilled in somewhere in home, that this was the ideal, you know, that you have to reach related to a certain type of union, a certain type of relationship. And when these are in reverse, you know, it's almost like from the deepest part of you, like something had to confront that false perception about even what an ideal relationship was. And so what they're proud of you for, and like what they're showing me, is that like there was a generational curse that was broken related to this, where, you know, you did the work and yeah, so someone's guide saying like, yeah, there was this really dysfunctional way in which, you know, you were taught to start on the wrong foot, or it wasn't a sturdy, like, good path, because there was a disproportionate amount of weight placed on a type of relationship meeting a certain number of expectations. And like when you did the healing and the work and found like a better perspective on this, one that is more in alignment with truth, they're like, you broke a generational curse right there. And that was like, and again, I'm hearing the round of applause, like your guys are really impressed with this. What we're seeing here in the way of clarification here is that it did kind of set you, like, there's a sense in which breaking that generational curse like did its job. You know, like it did a job on you to a certain extent, because you're hesitant to freely offer your love, and you, this is a card of walking away, but it's also a card of walking towards yourself. But it is walking away from like a lot of emotional investment. And they're saying, actually, so for somebody, your guys are saying like, it's really easy for you to walk away from stuff that you've really emotionally invested in. There's too much of an ease with that. And this comes from like, you know, the way in which this, generally, it's a generational curse. So the way in which this generational curse was broken, you know, it had a little bit, your guys are like saying, it had a little bit of a sting, to the extent that like you're much more cautious when offering, you know, that level of actually like going anywhere near that concept. So you're much more cautious. And also here with these pentacles in reverse, it's like there have been a number of paths where it was probably a good path, but you were like, nope, right? And also they're saying, you know, there, and for some of you actually, you know, I might, again, this is a Mod Podge because there's a lot of spirit guides in here. Walking away too easily as a result of this work. Like you were meant to be free of this, but now do you walk away from every single offer? And so for someone, your guides are pointing out that, that they were like amazed and they're proud of you, because that's no small feat. Breaking a generational like stronghold like that is I mean, that's not a small feat. That's usually kind of impossible, and without like putting yourself through a meat grinder. And so they're sort of saying like, you know, we understand that like breaking that curse and like getting rid of that like romantic ideal was like this liberating, amazing thing. But have you swung to the opposite end of that pendulum, where now it's like, well, you don't even go near this idea, because they are saying here that with the Three of Wands and the Four of Materials, this is the Four of Pentacles. Now, the Four of Pentacles in this card in particular always feels like accepting crumbs and calling them diamonds. It's always that to me with this particular deck, where like it's like crumbs are enough. I'm fine with the crumbs. It's totally good. These are really meaningful because of X, Y, and Z, or like I know it's not a lot, but then this, that, and the other. And it's like a way of like seeing things, like really seeing the best in people and the best in opportunities, but it's almost, yeah, but it's like capturing it in like a small space. Yeah, so one of your guides, somebody's guide showing me like, let me get a fix on what this is exactly, because it's coming in like too specific to be broad and I just want to hear it. Yeah, it's like you have the power, like with your mind, to sort of like you have a Midas touch about all kinds of things. Like when you look at the world, you're like, here's my Midas touch, and it kind of colors everything. But they're also saying that like with the Four of Coins here and like the way that this comes through, like there's also a little bit of I don't want to say making more of something, but seeing something in such a positive light and then just being being like, there's a negative light? No, there isn't. It's almost a little bit of denial, actually. And so what Spirit is showing me, you know, because there's also the Two of Swords here, like in reverse, you know, in terms of your path forward, what you have to understand about what's coming towards you is that you've been dreaming these beautiful things that have been like in the works and sort of working their way back towards you for a really long time. The pace feels a little bit frustrating, but you like, here's what I'm seeing. Let me just get up. There's so much information coming through right now that I need to kind of like really just breathe for a minute, because there's like 3 or 4 streams at once and I need to just kind of get a hold of it. All right, so there's a lot here. So with seeing a path forward and seeing your way forward, they're saying that like there's no more room for the weirdest images are coming through from somebody's guide, like over tipping. I don't know what that is, but it's almost like a habit of that. So even if the service is crappy because you were once like a server, you always tip like 25%. That's kind of what this is. And so but like they're showing to me, and they're saying like this is analogous to an energetic kind of a thing. So it's like giving more credit to people than they necessarily deserve, or giving more to a job than it deserves or should have. But they're saying that you're starting to see this, and you're starting to see your way out of this, and you're starting to see a way out. For a really long time, you're kind of just like stuck protecting your heart and being very controlling of like how you perceive things, to putting like a really great veneer on everything, and giving too much and giving too much and giving too much. And so the Spirit is saying like, you have a lot coming back to you. And they see you as somebody who has this ability to be in any situation and make it fun, and like find a way to like make it cool or interesting, or, you know, find the gifts and everything. But sometimes Spirit is saying, you know, but in finding the gifts, I'm back here, in finding the gifts and everything, they're like sometimes to the exclusion of like, that's not enough of a gift for you. Or like that gift is, sure, you are able to like apply this beautiful golden, you know, Midas touch to like to being given like something that isn't enough for you, kind of. And so they're saying like you're starting to really see that. Now with the Knight of Pentacles in reverse, the Three of Pentacles, and the Fool related to this energy here. This is what this is, related to this energy. Related to this energy where there's like a ton, like literally like a truck is kind of trying to come through with information related to this. Don't give too much. You know that. So you're starting to see that. And in seeing that, you know, where things weren't going to move. Because there wasn't, like, there was such a, like, giving, but you're giving you were giving kind of the wrong things to a certain extent. And so, like, things didn't really begin to move because your guys are saying, like, what we want is for you to be working with people at your caliber, to be in relationships with people at your caliber. And, like, we have that to offer you, but it requires doing a new thing, stepping into kind of a new space. And so your guys are like, you know, and they're like, you have the power and the vision, and the sustaining, like, to actually offer this thing to the world. But yeah, you're this whole section right here, which is like really intense for me as a reader, in terms of like the level of what's trying to come through. Giving to everybody and then saying, this is enough. And like you get back and then you're able to look at it with such love that it does kind of sustain you, you know. But at the same time, they're saying, you know, seeing your way out of that, because we have big plans for you. You know, Three of Pentacles, building a cathedral is kind of like a big deal. That's a big plan. And they're like, we have big plans for your big gifts and your and the effect that you're going to have on the world. But it's starting in a new direction, away from the mentality. It's so weird because I think it's like such a great quality that you can make the best of everything. But your guides are being like, you make the best of everything, which is the most beautiful thing ever. But we could pretty much put you anywhere and you're making the best of it. And we want you in good places. That's what I'm really hearing. And so they're saying, like, there's big plans for you. And you already know. This is not like, I'm not giving you a revelation. Like, you actually already know, because with the Two of Swords in reverse, you're starting to really see your way towards this new beginning, that you're, you know, that you're very much called to like work on a big thing. And so I'm going to get a couple more cards from Spirit, you know, just to wrap this up. But it's, you know, what they're saying related to this Three of Wands. So I didn't even like, look at me go. Yes. Okay. So this is related to the Four of this same area over here in your life. And they're saying, like, yeah, this is coming for you. You're seeing your way out of like overgiving and kind of compensating for everyone else's misery by being in a good mood. And they're like, and walking out of that is so smart and so amazing, because we're coming for you with blessings. We are on our way. Your guys are really saying like this is the Three of Wands. You're waiting, right? That's what I see over here with the Knight of Pentacles. But they're like, you know, this is swinging around. That energy that you pull back for yourself is going to yield tremendous gains. And that's what this is all about. And this big project is pretty cool too. So I want to see, where is it? Oh yeah, let's get some more cards and just see what Spirit wants to bring through, what your guides want to bring through about how they feel about you. They're impressed with you. That's how they feel about you. They are impressed with you. Oh my God, I'm impressed with you. I'm impressed with you. So let's go ahead and get some cards here to wrap up with advice from Spirit. Anything Spirit wants to bring through. All right. Yeah. You know, it was quite a journey. Oh wow, this is so cool. Let me get a couple more. Spirit, show me more. Guides, show me more what you want to, how you view pile number 3. Ooh. Stepping into your power was quite an ordeal. This did not happen easily, actually. I'm seeing that here. And your guides are saying, like, you know, we really want to sort of like credit where credit's due. None of this was easy. None of it. And you were able to walk away from something that sucked, but it's leading you somewhere so good. So with mending, oh my gosh, this is beautiful. So your guides are saying, like, yeah, you remember this. You remember this feeling of like being abandoned, like feeling like you were like in a world where there was no one like you even. This orphaned feeling, this is a very like deep, painful. So your guys are like, you remember this, right? See, they're like, you didn't stay there. And you may like, and it's one of your guys, I'm hearing someone's guides be like, from like the hunger in this position was so profound that they were actually worried that you weren't going to have the strength to get up and walk. And so, and by hunger, I mean, again, it comes through in every way, but it could be like emotional, it could be, but there was a level of such deprivation and hunger, and we were worried that you couldn't get up and walk. And they're like, but you know what? You did. And like, you let your curiosity lead you. And by letting your curiosity lead you, and I'm also being shown that high priestess, like this is you being like, you know what? I have a light within that's going to guide the way. But they're like, you let your curiosity lead you out of a really crappy situation that was it was like a tiger that ate your life, as one of your guides is saying. Like this is like a tiger that ate your life. It was a situation where you were constantly there's like strategy on either side, and you just didn't feel like you belonged there. And so, and you didn't feel like it was really holding you. This is like being on guard. And so they're saying, you let your curiosity lead you out of this crappy situation or these crappy confines or, a disempowered state. And they're like, and here we are with the soulmates. And they're like, see, we want to give you more, and we want to give you somebody or not even just somebody, like soulmates. Again, I always like put such an emphasis on this. A soulmate is just an amazing person that comes into your life and like puts the light on and then gives you that love of recognition, because your soulmates know you from many lives before, and they're like, we recognize you. And that's what this is. And so Spirit is saying, like, by getting out of the situation where no one was going to recognize you, because to protect yourself you had to pretend to be a cookie, kind of, no one's going to see you that way. Like, you got yourself out of that, and now we're really able to bring these beautiful relationships in. The source is bringing in these beautiful relationships and like mending these, because you started with this pain here around, disappointment, like relating to like what place a romantic, or, kind of a romantic relationship will hold in your life. Or like even, yes, for some of you, someone's guide saying like, no, picking someone because of a fear of not meeting that expectation. For somebody, that's for you. Where it wasn't so much like where this disappointed you, like you were just too afraid of not meeting the expectation. So you're like, hurry up, and we just pick this person. And then it was like a horrible situation. And so Spirit is saying like, you pulled yourself out of that. For some of you, that's really what it is. And so Spirit said you pull yourself out of that. And now like you're really positioned to be able to like, you stepped in your power, and now like your power is like a beacon, and it's calling your people in. And so and the higher power is actually able to like really bless you from this position. And so Pyre number 3, your guides are really, they're so impressed with you. I am so impressed with you. So there's a lot of really good stuff coming in for you too. I want to read this because these were shuffled out, and I want to see what they are, because I read this for the last 2 groups. So with Blossoms of the Sky Dancer, Kuan Yin guides you to remember the creative energy and spiritual light that are within you, which cause all of life around you to bloom. Creation is a natural spiritual power within you, beloved. Force can slow down the process. It is time to stop striving and allow your manifestation to occur. Trust, let go, allow your creation to flow. Beautiful. 100%. I see that. Pile number 3. This is your reading. Your guides are singing your praises, man. They think you're amazing. They think you walk on water in a way. They are, some of them are like, I'm getting this energy from here, like stunned with your abilities, your power, and how you're able to do all of this. And again, like one of these guys is like saying like, yeah, you don't even, someone's guide saying you don't really even realize how powerful you really are. And so that's where, but this empowerment, they're saying like, every time you step into your power, we like turbocharge it. So yeah, your guides really love you. They are impressed with you, and so am I. So let's end the reading there. All right, pile number 3. I hope that was helpful, and I'll see you again soon.